Hey guys, it's Holly. Welcome back to my channel. So today I want to talk about desiccated thyroid. So this in particular is bovine thyroid, which means it comes from a cow. So for those of you that don't know, I have subclinical hypothyroidism, and I was diagnosed with that a few years ago. So to make a long story short, over the last few years, I have been supplementing with, experimenting with a lot of different things, a lot of different products to keep my hypothyroidism in check without taking medication. I do not like to take prescription medications unless I absolutely have to, especially long term. It's just not my thing. I try really hard to avoid that for long term. When I get sick acutely, I don't really worry about taking medicines when I absolutely need them, but I don't like the idea of consistently being on something for the rest of my life if I can help it. That's just me. That's just my opinion. So I like to share with you guys some of my experiences with my hypothyroidism journey and kind of just like share about my Hashimoto's and you know, go from there. So this video specifically is about this product right here. I purchased it on Amazon. And the price on this was about, I don't even remember. I want to say it was almost $50. It was like 40, 45, somewhere in the 40 to 50 range. This is for a 2-month supply. So 60 days, you only need 1 capsule per day. So I'm going to read to you about the product and kind of explain a little bit about it here. Raw desiccated thyroid glandular can support optimal thyroid health and function. Our bovine thyroid is sourced exclusively from New Zealand for quality assurance. So this product does come from New Zealand. Suggested use is just 1 capsule once or twice a day. So you can take it twice a day. I only am currently using it, doing 1 per day. Or is recommended by a healthcare provider. Avoid taking more than 4 capsules within 24 hours. So technically you can take more, but in my case, I feel that I only need 1 per day. So, but yeah, so if you take more, obviously you would have to purchase the product more often, obviously. So it has 200 milligrams of the thyroid bovine freeze-dried thyroid from New Zealand. So the other ingredients are just long grain rice flour, gelatin for the capsule, vegetable stearate, and silica. No wheat, gluten, corn, dairy, soy, no yeast. So I was on levothyroxine, which is thyroid hormone. So I was on that a couple of times for brief periods. I experienced a little bit of positive result from it, but not anything drastic. I actually found out I had subclinical hypothyroidism because or at the time it was actually a minor case of hypothyroidism at that time. It wasn't like full-blown crazy, but it was definitely out of range. And so I found out because I was having particularly heavy monthly cycles, and that was the only real major symptom that I had. I didn't really have anything else going on. And so I had told my OB-GYN about this, and that's when they tested for the first time, and I finally found out. And that had been going on for at least a year prior to me finding out. We do have an extensive family history. Both of my brothers have hypothyroidism really, really badly. I definitely have it considerably milder than they do. My oldest brother actually had to have part of his thyroid removed recently, and he's taking a pretty high dose of levothyroxine. My other brother he developed hypothyroidism around the age of 11 or 12, and he had it really bad with the onset, but he hasn't really had any issues. He just takes levothyroxine every day. And he will for the rest of his life. But as for me, I like to try different things. I'm going to set this down because my hand's tired. But anyways, so more recently, I've just been taking other supplements that I have reviewed for you guys and posted videos about. So, and I'm not throwing those supplements totally to the wayside. What I am doing is experimenting right now with just this. And I have been on this for a few weeks now. So to me, it feels absolutely no different than taking the other supplements. I still feel basically the same benefit. I want to throw in other supplements as well with it in the near future to try and see how that works, because I feel like combining a couple of products would be a good idea and would be of benefit. So I'll let you guys know how that goes and which product that I ultimately choose to go with it. So I don't plan to take this, you know, like all the time, like every single day for the rest of my life. I mean, I like to switch it up with things. So I'll take this for a while, and then I will be moving on to trying different products as well. Then I'll be coming back to this. And you know, in my case, I think alternating is going to be a really good idea. So I plan to alternate between different supplements, and then also combine as well. So I'll let you guys know how that goes and how I proceed to do that. Now, when it comes to the desiccated thyroid, there is a product out there called Armour Thyroid, which is like a pig thyroid. And I know that some doctors will prescribe pig thyroid. I don't know about bovine thyroid, but I do know that pig thyroid is a big thing, and they put it in some prescription thyroid medication. So I'm not a doctor, so don't quote me on any of this. This is just me telling you what I know, and I don't know everything. So my oldest son's dad has had a lot of issues with his thyroid over the last couple of years. He found out a couple years ago as well, around the age of 40, that he had hypothyroidism, and it was pretty out of whack, and it still is. He has had a hard time regulating and getting anything to work for him at all, medication wise. So I think right now he's actually on levothyroxine and pig thyroid, and I believe his doctor has prescribed him both of those. So the prescription desiccated thyroid, I don't know. I'm assuming it's stronger than the stuff you would get over the counter, but I don't know for certain. I do know that according to my research, people that were taking levothyroxine that switched from levothyroxine over to the desiccated thyroid, it said the studies that I read about showed that over 70% of those people felt that they had improved symptoms in comparison to just taking the levothyroxine. So I thought that that was very interesting. So I don't really, with this stuff, I don't really feel any different. Like I said before, I feel like I'm getting about the same benefit. I also just don't really have symptoms when it comes to my hypothyroidism. At this point, I mean, sometimes there are certain things like, you know, my skin and my hair might be super dry, but lately it's been a lot less of an issue, especially since I started taking this. So that is one thing, which is great. And you know, it just kind of varies. I mean, sometimes the monthly cycles are different than others. This last one that I just had was less favorable, I will definitely say that, but then the one I had before that was extremely mild. And that's just kind of how it goes when you're a woman. So I won't get into that a whole lot because I'm sure there are some men on here too. But with that being said, I do like this product. I do recommend it. Again, I'm not a doctor. You always want to talk to your doctor, especially if you are on any kind of prescription medications. So I don't see a harm in it. According to my research, there are no side effects between levothyroxine and Armour Thyroid, which is the pig thyroid that I just told you guys about. So I don't think that there would be any kind of negative interaction. Just from, this is just what I think, my own opinion. But yeah, so some people do take both, but there are no known negative interactions. So that is good news. And then when it comes to the desiccated thyroid, also people were saying that they experienced higher energy levels and more promoted weight loss as well when they switched over to the desiccated thyroid. So I thought that was pretty interesting. However, there are some people that do still prefer just the levothyroxine, and you know, some that need both also. So I like to take the least invasive approach possible. So when it comes to myself, I don't like to take a million different things. I do like to take a lot of supplements, but I also don't like to overdo it. So with my subclinical hypothyroidism, I like to just try to take one product at a time, you know, sometimes two, and just kind of like slowly go from there. And I'm not a big fan of taking multiple medications at all. So, and you know, some people have to, and I totally get that. Like, I'm not against people taking medications at all. It's just me personally, I'm against myself taking medications long term, and I don't want to if I don't absolutely have to. So, I already have a medication that I have to take for sleeping, because I have really, really bad sleeping issues. I've told you guys so many times before, but I struggle with really, really severe insomnia, and even with my medication, I still don't sleep a lot. So I do have to take a medication called trazodone for that, but I take it as needed. So there are some nights that I don't need it, but they're very few and far between. Usually I have to take one every night, or at least half of one. So, but yeah, so that's the only thing I take long term. I've been on that for like, I don't know, 2.5, close to 3 years now. And I've taken breaks from that as well, but unfortunately I have to have something to sleep, and I can't help that. So again, I'm not against people taking medications. So I am just glad that for me in my own situation that I have been able to keep my thyroid levels in check by using supplements such as these. And so I've been really, really happy about that. And I would like to share that with other people, because there are other people out there too that want to handle it without having to reach for the pills, or the prescription medications. So ultimately, let's see if there's anything else I want to add here. I always like to say that at the end of my videos, just to make sure that there's nothing else I want to add on to what I'm saying here. But again, hypothyroidism is an extremely common condition these days. And, you know, a lot of it's genetic. It's also environmental factors contributing. So your thyroid can attack itself literally pretty much at any given moment in time. Something as simple as a little infection, like a cold, virus, or something like that, can trigger the thyroid to start attacking itself. So it's just an extremely, extremely common condition. And so anyways, with that being said, again, this video is primarily about desiccated thyroid. This is working good for me now. I plan to stay on this. When I finish the bottle, I am going to move on to taking another bottle of this, and I am also going to add in another thyroid supplement. So probably just stuff I was taking before, like a supplement that has like selenium, L-tyrosine, and the other stuff that's great for the thyroid too, like copper, iodine. I will say I have still been taking iodine on this stuff too, so I have been combining the iodine with this. And the iodine drops that I take, they're just basic. I get them off Amazon. They last forever, literally. And before I was taking like 3 drops a day, but I've taken it down to just like 1 or 2 drops a day, so I am actually taking that too. But iodine is really an essential nutrient as well for when you're dealing with an underactive thyroid. So anyways, my levels are not like absolutely perfect. My TSH last time I checked back in December, which was last month, it wasn't even quite a month ago, it was probably about 3.5 weeks ago. I checked the level on that, and that was at a 4. And so I'm okay with that because it's still technically normal. So yeah, I've been happy with that. As long as I can keep it, you know, within normal or borderline range, I will not consider taking any prescription medications. You know, one day it might very well come a day that I can't keep it in check without prescriptions. And if that day comes, then that's okay. And, you know, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. But for now, seeing as how I'm able to keep it under control this way, I want to continue to do that. So that's all I have to say, guys, about this. If you have any questions, you can always email me or reach out to me on any of my other social media networks as well. I always put my email in the description box, as well as a link to my Patreon. And I think my Patreon, I believe I have like a free option now, because I have a few people that are taking advantage of the free option right now. I don't post a whole lot of different stuff on Patreon. It's more or less just a way for people to support my content. And some people follow me on other stuff too, like Tumblr, X, formerly known as Twitter, but I also have, Pinterest, like Facebook. I try to get on all these every day. I don't always. Sometimes it's only once or twice a week, but I try to stay as consistent as possible. I'm also on Reddit, Telegram, pretty much on everything. But I do like to post to Patreon as well. So sometimes I do have a little bit different posts on Patreon, but more or less it's just something that people can subscribe to. And again, I do believe there's a free option, so you can check it out. So yeah, so my Patreon and then my Amazon store, I always post a link to that as well. I have tons of idea lists on there for various different things. And of course my bio website. I'm still with Bio, and I have been with them for almost 4 years now. So with that being said, I'll see you guys in my next video. Love you. Bye.